Welcome, Ellie.
Hi.
We are so glad to have you to come into the diocesan house and tell us your story. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time, really ever since we met sometime last year. You were a junior, I think, in school. So, Ellie, tell us about yourself.
Well, I just turned 18 a few weeks ago, and I'm from Maryville. I go to the Church of the Good Samaritan here in Knoxville, and I've always been an Episcopalian. I'm a student, I'm an artist, and I'm a runner. That's pretty much all there is
Great.
to do with me, yeah.
And I know art is in your DNA because I think your grandmother was an artist. Am I right?
Yes, she was.
Yes, great, great. And tell us about your faith and how you connect with God.
Well, I obviously grew up in the Episcopal Church, but I moved to Good Samaritan when I was about 12, I think. And so I think that really marked a period of journey within my life. I would say that so much of my involvement has to do with Sinead and her mentorship throughout my life. But I think that so much of how involved I am really comes from the leaders who I've interacted with, especially the period that I started going to Good Sam was a very transformative time. So being with the other older kids in the youth group who really were great leaders and still are great leaders, I think really inspires me. And Good Sam does a great job of supporting its youth like so many churches here. And the most memorable would have to be the mission trips that I went on with Sinead, especially going throughout the years. I think we went to Montgomery, Alabama. That was the first one I went on, and we visited the EJI down there, and that is really such a fond memory that I have because I really couldn't imagine before that, you know, incorporating church and such a striving for social justice. That was really like the first time I had really seen that and really been involved with it and carrying that out. And so I would say that that is where I really feel the most connected to God, is when I'm doing volunteer work and when I'm learning from other people. Just being able to see, you know, Jesus's teachings and practice is really empowering. So yeah.
Great, good for you. And tell us how ENT Youth plays a role in your faith journey.
Yeah, so I think really the first time I started interacting with the diocese at a larger level would have to be when I went to the National Acolyte Festival in maybe 2016 or 2017. It was definitely pre-COVID, but I went down there with Jody and Gracie, and just being able to be in DC and be with all of these kids who were from Chattanooga and Cleveland, who I'd never really met before. Just being able to be in that city with them was amazing, and we definitely took advantage of DC while we were at the National Cathedral. And one thing we did was, I think a few of us went to a protest at the Capitol building, which was insanely empowering to me as like a 14-year-old. And so after that, I started going to so many diocesan things, and especially getting involved with Happening over the past few years with the help of Caroline, and just being able to really position myself as a leader within the diocese and make so many new friends and tweak things and keep traditions how they were and really just expand on everything that we have going on has been really amazing. And so being able to really put that into action, and being rector at the last happening, or two happenings ago, was just an incredible way for me to, I think, give back to the diocese. And I'm just very excited for where our diocese is heading, especially this summer, going on the pilgrimage, and the amount of youth leadership that I've really seen grow coming out of the challenging past 3 years that we've had. I think that is really spiritually fulfilling.
What was tell us about happening? What is happening about for those who might not have heard of it, and tell us your role, because I think you were involved in happening this past weekend. So tell us about it, your role in it, and what is it all about?
Yeah, so happening is a really big, I would call it a coming of age event almost for Episcopalians, and it's for high school youth. So going to our conference center for about 3 days, and really it's centered around, what can you become in your adolescence in terms of a faith community and getting closer to God. And so one of my favorite parts of happening is that it's completely run by youth, for the youth that are there. And so the whole youth team puts in so much work just to make sure that the weekend is full of moments of growth. I can't say much about the weekend just because of the way that it's set up, but it's a series of talks that we have that really try to empower the participants there and also the team just to grow spiritually. And last November, I was the lay rector of the event, so I got the opportunity to partner with our diocesan coordinator and plan the whole thing, and that was really beautiful to just kind of choose my own theme and choose the music and see it all play out. And this past weekend, one of my close friends from Chattanooga was able to be the rector, and I was just kind of being there as a support to him, and that was also awesome because I feel like every happening is just a whole new way, even though most of the events are kind of structured similarly, to just kind of expand our idea of God for everyone involved.
Great. As a younger delegate to the General Convention, what do you hope to influence or change?
Right, so I'm really excited to go to General Convention for the first time. I think I have a different perspective just because I was a youth delegate last summer. Obviously, I didn't get to attend the actual event, but I was able to speak to so many youth who were also delegates, but also just coming back here and asking youth what they really want to see happen, and kind of being able to explain General Convention to them from my own perspective. And I feel like I have a very in-depth idea of General Convention, thanks to the training that I went through during my youth training. But I think going in, it's very clear that the youth are passionate about racial reconciliation, LGBTQ and trans inclusion within the church, sustainability that the church is already working towards. Personally, some of the things that I started working on for convention dealt with a lot of transgender issues and indigenous issues, which thankfully I think were targeted at the last convention, but certainly we'll still be working towards at this next upcoming one in 2024. And so I think being able to be a youth but also understand that I have a lot to learn from everyone in this diocese that will be going with me is really important. And also one of the most important things for me as a youth who has a little bit more of a, platform within the diocese is kind of bridging that gap intergenerationally generationally between those in this diocese and in the church as a whole. I'm working towards that with EYE as well, but it's important to me that, you know, we get all of the voices from the oldest to the youngest in the room. So,
What are your future plans?
well, I'll be going to college in the fall. I'm not entirely sure yet, but fingers crossed. I have a specific place in mind. And I'll probably be majoring in history and religious studies and minoring in some data analysis fields. Thanks to actually an experience that I had at Good Sam a few summers ago. We had a program at the bottom Knoxville with the Archival Research Center.
One of my favorite bookstores is the bottom. Love it. Yeah.
And that was just a great introduction to the field of archival research. And ever since then, I've been so influenced to get involved with that. And even if I would love to work within the church as an adult, but also that's just one of the passions that I have that I think is really influenced by the values of the Episcopal Church, seeking justice through truth and being able to be a truth teller through reading and through analysis and through really thoughtfully looking at history. Yeah.
What are your, let's see, where are you in high school now in Maryville?
I go to Maryville High School, and
Okay.
yeah, I'm a senior.
A senior there. Not much longer. You'll be graduating month after next. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
What has been your favorite studies at Maryville?
I would have to say either my sociology class or just kind of my general history courses. I've been really lucky to have some amazing history teachers. Actually, the same person that taught me sociology also was my US history teacher and my European history teacher. And he's really been just a huge mentor in my life, who has just always really pushed me to be a good history student. And he's been just always there throughout the past years that I've been at school, and definitely has made me want to continue studying history.
Great. Tell us about your cross-country activities.
Yes, so I have been running for about 6 or 7 years, and I really like running. I really like it not only for the competition. I'm not the most competitive person, but I also really like the community that it fosters. I love being active, especially just because Maryville, I think, is the perfect place to do an activity like that. And I plan on running in college. So I think that'll be a great way to meet new people and explore the city, and just kind of have my own community within the community that I'm in.
Good for you. Well, we are so fortunate to have you as so active in our diocese. So proud of your work with social justice, equity, and inclusion, and your work with the General Convention and with the convention here in East Tennessee. So you were very active with that too. And I cannot thank you enough for telling your story for us, for our storytelling initiative. And it's just always a pleasure to be with you and to see your work. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.